Question about UFOs. What happens when hundreds of people together see a UFO? Do they collectively shift to another dimension? Many such incidents have been reported. This was because I answered another question about spiritual visions, and I was explaining that you have we live in a world where everything is energy. So we have a certain spectrum of energies that make up the material world. But right above the material is the emotional realm, and then there's the mental and the identity, and then finally the spiritual. So everything is actually created from energy that's lowered in vibration. So there's a constant stream of energy from the spiritual realm into the identity, mental, emotional, and into the physical. So there is a zone of vibrations. There's kind of like a borderline, you could say, where below this level you have the purely physical, and above it you have the emotional. And sometimes that can shift a little bit, that borderline. It's not like it's absolutely fixed, it can shift a little bit. So what actually happens is that there are some times where people, even a group of people, can be in a certain state of mind where they are not as focused on the physical. So they are able to see or experience something that is beyond the physical. And this is quite an interesting phenomenon in the sense that, of course, there are many documented cases of people having seen something that you normally don't consider physical. It's not just UFOs. See, there's a whole group of people, and I've observed this for many, many years, who are completely fixated on UFOs. But if you step back from just being fixated on UFOs and look at the phenomenon in a broader context, you can see that if you look back at history, there was centuries ago, many people thought they saw what you today call mythological beings. It could be unicorns, it could be trolls, it could be demons, various creatures, dragons, all kinds of things like that. And this goes way, way, way back. So, so why is it that centuries ago they never saw UFOs? And then when we get into the technological age, where we now begin to create flying machines and we start dreaming about space travel, all of a sudden people started seeing technological devices that are claimed to be alien spaceships visiting from another planet. Why was there this shift? So in my view of this, it is that if you go back several hundred years, people were tying in to this, what I call the emotional realm or the astral plane. And whatever they saw in their minds, whatever images they had in their minds was what they saw. It becomes sort of a self-reinforcing process. You know, in the emotional realm, things are not as set as they are in the physical. So there are beings in the emotional realm who can change shape based on them wanting to interact with human beings and get some energy from people. So if people are looking for mythological creatures, they will take that shape, and then people experience it, and now they spread the belief that this happens. And a lot of people end up believing in trolls and unicorns and dragons. And then we get into the modern age where we begin to say, oh, this is all superstition. We are now in a scientific age where we don't believe in these mythological creatures. That was just the superstition of the past. But now we believe in technology, and we have these images of technology, and we have all of these books about space travel and beings from other planets traveling to Earth. And now, what are the beings in the emotional realm that want to extract energy from people? What are they going to do? They're going to say, well, unicorns don't work anymore. Let's try and take the shape of a UFO, give somebody the vision of a UFO so that they can spread the belief in that, and we can get people's attention and get their energy. So to me, that's a big part of the explanation for this whole UFO phenomenon. Now you can say, but what if hundreds of people are seeing a UFO? There are documented cases, yes, but if you read about Fatima, the Fatima prophecy, you will see that there was a situation in the 1920s where 3 young children in Fatima, Portugal, shepherds, they encountered Mother Mary, an apparition of Mother Mary, who gave them various prophecies. And there are documented cases where this phenomenon spread, and at certain times, up to 50,000 people would come together to see this apparition. And there was at least one case I remember where there was, I think it was 50,000 people that claimed that they physically saw the sun fall from the sky towards the earth and then rise again. So this would be, to me, comparable to hundreds of people seeing a UFO. These people claimed that they physically saw the sun. Now, if the sun had fallen towards the earth, don't you think everybody would have noticed? At least the ones that were on that side of the planet? So obviously, these beings didn't see the sun physically fall towards Earth. So did those hundreds of people who claimed they physically saw a UFO, was it really a physical UFO, or were they attuned to the emotional realm and they saw something there? See, I'm not denying that UFOs exist, or alien spaceships exist. I'm just questioning whether they're physical. Because my understanding from the Ascended Masters is that the law of free will is very clear. A planet is a unit, and the law of free will prevents beings from other planets from coming to Earth, for example, and interfering with Earth, because it would be a violation of the law of free will. Now, there's another phenomenon that ties into this, which is that there are many people in embodiment who think they are star seeds or they have come from other planets. But that's a whole other phenomenon. It's one thing to say that alien spaceships travel to Earth from a distant galaxy. It's another thing to say that somebody who used to be embodied for many lifetimes on a particular planet in another planetary system comes into embodiment on Earth. That's a different phenomenon which I talk about in my Avatar series, that there are natural planets and many spiritual people have come from natural planets after embodying there for many lifetimes, and now they've taken embodiment on Earth. So, that's a different phenomenon. So I'm not discounting there are people who feel like they're not really from Earth, but it doesn't mean that you physically traveled here. Because if you just look at the science, how far away is the nearest planet that may have life? And how long would it take for a spaceship to travel here? The speed limit in the universe is the speed of light, and nothing can travel faster than the speed of light if it has mass. And what does it mean that it has mass? You see, I said there's a borderline between the physical realm and the emotional. When you cross that borderline, you have mass. A spaceship has mass if it's physical, and it can't travel faster than the speed of light. Okay, it's just a physical limitation. I know you can talk about warp speed or light speed. Prepare for light speed, and then you see these streams of light, and but it's just not. There's no physical basis for this, right? So I know you can come up with all kinds of things saying, okay, but that just means they go into the emotion realm, then they travel to Earth, and then they go into the physical. So you can argue, and that's fine. If you want to go into that, that's fine. But the way I look at it is, the Ascended Masters have been clear on this. Beings from another planet are not allowed to come to Earth. They're not allowed to come here to take our resources and kill us all, nor are they allowed to come here and solve all our problems for us, because we have to solve the problems we have created on this planet. Now, this doesn't mean that we have to solve these alone, because we can receive help from the ascended masters who exist in a higher realm. But they are the ones who are assigned by the cosmic law, by the cosmic hierarchy, to help us bring the Earth back into being a natural planet. And by the way, on a natural planet, you don't even have the concept of UFOs or unicorns or trolls or all those kind of things. So what I'm saying is that I understand that a lot of spiritual people will vehemently object to what I'm saying here. But just think about it a little bit. Just think about it a little bit, what I'm saying here. That it is very possible that individuals or even groups of people can attune their consciousness to the vibrations of the emotional realm, and they experience something there that for them at the time feels completely physical. And after they come out of the experience, they are convinced that this happened. They are convinced that they were taken up into a UFO and experiments were done on their physical body. And they come back and they have needle marks because you have many documented cases that people can manifest physical symptoms through the mind. So that's my take on it. The other thing I understand from the Ascended Masters is that if a civilization on a distant planet developed the technology to actually travel here physically, or go into warp drive or whatever, if they had the technology, they would have to have a higher level of consciousness than we have on Earth. And if they had this higher level of consciousness, number one, they wouldn't need any resources from Earth because they have a higher form of technology, and there's nothing on Earth that they would need if they have that technology. So they don't need to come here and steal our resources. They don't need anything on Earth. Second of all, if they had that higher level of consciousness, they would be in tune with the Ascended Masters, and therefore they would know to leave the Earth alone. And quite frankly, if you have a higher level of consciousness than Earth, what would you want from Earth? I mean, you have transcended all the murder and mayhem that's going on Earth. What could you possibly need from Earth? There's just nothing they would want here. So in other words, if they could travel here, they wouldn't. And if they couldn't travel here, it's because they don't have the development yet. So, it's one of those things where if you look at this from a different perspective, I have talked about how there are these forces in the emotional realm, the mental realm, and the low identity realm who have cut themselves off from the flow of energy that comes from the spiritual realm. They need to steal energy from people. And one of the ways they do this is to get people to go into a certain state of mind where they misqualify the energy, for example, with fear. So you look back, you read some of these fairy tales, Grimm's, the Grimm brothers, fairy tales, for example. What was the purpose of these, the real purpose of these fairy tales? It was to scare people, especially children, into qualifying the energies they received from the higher selves with fear, so that the beings in the emotional realm could steal those energies and use it to sustain themselves or even grow in power. That was the only purpose for why these were brought into the physical realm. So the brothers Grimm were tuned into the astral plane. They brought forth these fairy tales that scared generations of children. That was the real purpose, to steal people's energy. And now today you have, nobody's scared of trolls anymore. So you have to have something else, right? They have to come up with a different gig, and that's UFOs and aliens. So you watch Independence Day. What was the purpose of that movie? To scare vulnerable people into believing that any moment an alien civilization could come here and try to kill us all. Again, you misqualify energy through fear, and the beings in the emotional realm can absorb it and take it. So then there can be another aspect of this, that is, there are beings in the mental realm. They're not trying to scare people in order to get their energy. They're trying to make them feel superior. So they do this by projecting that because you believe in UFOs and you have all of this evidence, you're superior to those who don't. And therefore, you are also qualifying energies at the mental level with this vibration of pride and superiority, and they can steal that as well. So you see some of these people that are arguing for why there are UFOs and why they have been abducted, and it just gives them that sense of they are special, they are superior. And it's just, again, stealing energy. There's so much of this going on in the world today. So much of this going on. I don't really want to talk down about the flat earthers, but I watched a couple of videos a while back on YouTube about the flat earth people. And when I just read their vibration, they have this sense of superiority and intellectual pride that they have realized that the earth is flat and all the rest of us are believing in an illusion, and therefore they are special, they are superior. And you see so many groups of people out there who have some kind of belief that is most people don't believe in, and they feel so special because of it. And of course, I used to feel the same way because I was spiritual. I believed in ascended masters. And again, I felt superior because most people don't believe in this. So I know you can always turn any argument around. And you can say, well, why is ascended masters any better than UFOs? And but look at what I'm saying here. I'm not saying that people believe. There are many people, of course, who just believe in UFOs. But I'm not saying all people believe in UFOs. Some people have had experiences. But those experiences were tuning in to the emotional realm or the mental realm. The ascended masters are not in the four realms that make up the material universe. They are in the spiritual realm. And you can tune your consciousness. You see, there's belief where you believe in something. But you can tune your consciousness to something beyond the physical. You can turn the dial on the radio of your mind. So you can tune into the emotional realm, you can tune into the mental, you can tune into the lower identity, and then you get lower forces that need to steal energy from you. If you tune into the higher identity realm or the spiritual realm, you get the ascended masters who are ascended, and therefore they don't need energies from you. They don't take energy from you. So that's a fundamental difference. And if it's like if you can tune your mind only to the emotional realm, you might not be able to sense that they're taking your energy. The same with the mental. But if you can attune your mind to the spiritual realm, you can read the vibration of the spiritual realm and compare it to the lower identity, mental and emotional. And you can sense that the ascended masters are not taking energy from you. They are giving energy to you. And so that's a fundamental difference. So I don't know if I communicated this clearly, but I'm not trying to put down people who believe they have seen some non-material phenomenon, whether it's UFOs or angels or other beings. I'm not trying to put down people who are communicating with beings in other realms that are non-physical. I'm just trying to say that there are levels of vibration, and as you increase your ability to discern, you can learn to read the vibrations and see whether they are higher or lower, you can feel whether they take energy from you or give energy to you. And the way to increase your discernment is very simple. You have to overcome your desire to feel special so you can go into a neutral state of mind. You can only read vibration from a neutral state of mind because it's just a matter of reading the energy. What is the level of the energy, and does it take energy out of your energy field, or does energy stream into your energy field? And when you're attuned to these lower forces, they're taking energy out, and when you're attuned to the ascended masters, energy is flowing into your field. And that's the difference. So I'm sure this isn't going to convince anybody who strongly believes in UFOs, but that's my take on it anyway.